City, Gumbo. I community events like I often do. So, first and foremost, we have the 6th annual Rosewood Night Out, family friendly event that's happening Friday, August 2nd from 5 to 11 p.m. That event consisting of live music, community barbecue, over 40 community organizations and resources, plus a movie at dusk, all at the Rosewood Initiative on 161st and Stark. Next up, Drip Fest 503 is happening at Portland International Raceway, Saturday, August 10th, noon to 5 p.m. This also is an all-ages, family-friendly event with a car show, food, kids zone, and more. More information can be found at 503dripfest.com. Next up, we have the Portland Women of Color presents Beauties Who Brunch Thrive Summit, which is August 18th, hosted by Portland's own Trey Renee Chambers. This summit will focus on building confidence, mental health, and financial literacy, and will be held at the Irving Street Studio. The Next Level Give Back Next Level Give Back 2019 is also August 18th at Irving Park, noon to 4 p.m. There will be school supplies, backpacks, food, as well as barbers and hairstyles for the kiddos. I can't believe we're talking about back to school already. Okay, next up, Vanport Jazz Festival is happening at the Callwood Golf Course Saturday, August 3rd, with the tunes of Eric Darius, Paul Jackson Jr., Andy Stokes, War, and more. Info can be found at vanportjazzfestival.com. And last but not least, Mississippi Street Fair is actually going on right now until 9 p.m. There's tons of music, hundreds of local vendors, a kids zone, and a rib-off, all happening between the streets of Fremont and Skidmore on Mississippi. All right, those are your community bulletins, and let me introduce you to our guest here, Mr. David Jefferson, who's going to be talking about everything to come. But before he comes and sits on the couch, although he's sitting on the couch already, we will show a little clip of him in an interview.
Things that a lot of y'all probably should do, you know what I'm saying? Because I know y'all got some stories to tell, you know what I'm saying? So let's talk about the book, Society College.
Okay. Speak on it.
I mean, what's it about? What's it about?
What's it about?
I want you to speak on it. I ain't writing the book.
Society College. What is it? It's the education, the true education of society, in my opinion. You know, it's looking at society as a institution of learning as opposed to a place to just exist.
Okay.
It's taking advantage of all the educational tools that are out here in society,
right,
and learning them and applying them and creating formulas to be able to understand society more via, you know, especially people.
Okay.
You know, it's the art of understanding. Like, you know, it's kind of understanding people and society to a level so profound that you can actually create formulas and create philosophies and things that move you forward to create energy around.
So basically,
people.
living is a learning lesson. Everything you do is learning. It's basically what you're saying. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from.
Yeah, I mean, every time you step outside the door, you got an opportunity to learn something from somebody.
So that's what's gonna be on the book. What's what's
All right, that was just a little clip of Stackin Kickz himself, David Jefferson, talking to, Chocolate Dope at an interview at KBOO not too long ago. So that just gives you a little background of what he's talking about. We'll get more into Society College, which you guys were talking about in that interview a little bit later. But first, let me introduce my guest today, David Jefferson, better known as Stackin Kickz, Society College. He's done things like Walk This Way fashion show, He's had a food cart, Peaches Ready Spaghetti, and you can hear him every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on KBOO with Calculated Conversation with his partner in crime, Can Jones, as well. Everybody welcome David Jefferson to the show. Okay, David, thank you so much for being here first and foremost. You yourself are a busy, busy man. It's been a busy Saturday. There's so much going on in the city today. So I appreciate you coming and taking some time out to sit on the couch with me and talk to me and let everybody know, all our viewers, what you have going on as far as you yourself as a person, David Jefferson, and everything else under your belt, okay? So first and foremost, we will talk, everybody knows you for Stackin Kickz mostly.
True.
Okay, so Stackin Kickz has been around for a while now, 10 plus years?
Yeah, about 10. It was kind of erected in 010.
Okay,
about,
so almost, so we're coming
on,
we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary.
Going on a decade.
Yes, that's awesome. Okay, so why don't you tell everyone what the culture is behind Stackin Kickz and why you even decided to have a jumpstart brand like that?
The culture, you know, it's the something $1 billion sneaker culture. You know, it's a culture I've been a part of since I was in 2nd, 3rd grade. You know, I've always been a big fan of sneakers, the Jordans, the Air Forces, the Dunks, all the old school classics that used to come out before we had this big sneaker craze. You know, I was a part of that. And so the brand came about because I needed to create, I mean, I've always loved fashion as well. And so I needed a way to kind of to break that passion out, you know, with the fashion and with the sneakers. And so what I decided to do is create a brand that could kind of encompass both aspects of the things that I cared about the most, you know what I mean? And so after I did that, it just started slowly making sense. It was sort of a universe call, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the feeling you get when you're a creator and you design things in your head, you know, you just kind of listen to the vibes, the energy. You don't always come up with your own ideas. Sometimes it comes from just the aura of who you are and what you care about. And things just come, you know what I mean? And so Stackin Kickz, honestly, it came out of nowhere. It was supposed to be just one T-shirt. And all of a sudden, like, before my eyes, it was this whole brand. I don't really even know how that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just the Stackin Kickz brand has evolved in the less than 10 years that you've been around, from just men's fashion to women's fashion to children's fashion, okay? And then you've also went from there to having your own fashion show to promote or to showcase your fashions as well as other fashions as well. And so with those, you started Stackin Kickz, and then you've also multiplied, and other things have come to you since then. So you have, okay, so it was Stackin Kickz first.
That's right.
And then was it Peaches Ready Spaghetti next?
Stackin Kickz first. Well, before Stackin Kickz was 503 Exclusive, which a lot of people don't know about. But that's when I first started. Like back in, it was like 07 or something, I started selling like shoes out the trunk, you know what I mean, trying to make extra dough, you know, off something I cared about. And so I started that, and then it transferred into my own brand after I went to the Magic Show in Vegas.
Magic Show.
And then just so many things that happen over time, you can't really control how it unfolds. It's just kind of a natural occurrence when you know, in line with the things you care about.
Right.
You know? And so things just happen, I just let them.
Oh, right, just let it manifest.
Yeah, I just let it happen.
So,
I don't be ready all the time, but
but you keep it going though, which is awesome. I mean, you've been in this this entrepreneur game for a very long time. Like I said, you've had Stackin Kickz, Peaches Ready Spaghetti, which you still do as your leisure or whatever. I do have a question about that though, real quick. So with Peaches Ready Spaghetti, which you tell the backstory about that, and you started that because in remembrance of your mother.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right.
So you started, and that was her specialty?
Well, that was just one of the things I valued that she cooked. You know, it's my favorite thing. And honestly, I just remember one time being in college, and I called her on the phone. I was like, Mom, I'm trying to make the spaghetti that you make all the time. Because I was away from home now, so I was trying to figure it out. And then she started laughing. She was like, oh, that's so cute. You know what I mean? But I was dead serious.
But you were dead serious, right.
So she kind of told me step by step over the phone, and then just over the years, I just mastered it, you know what I mean?
Nice.
And then kind of after she passed away from cancer in 2005, I decided to create something sort of in her memorial to, you know, leave something to the city, something to
Nice.
inspire the city, something with her name on it. You know?
I mean, and because you had an actual food cart, and you don't even have the food cart per se anymore, but I know every now and then on your Facebook, I know you get requests all the time for that spaghetti. So it hasn't stopped, even though.
Yeah, they won't leave me alone with the spaghetti, man.
That's
you know?
awesome, though.
It was just a fun thing. I knew it was doable. It was new. It was fresh. It hadn't been done before. Back then, that was 2014, you know, and we wasn't as up on the food game as we was now. So I was taking a kind of an unknown risk from our community, you know, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I honestly believe it inspired a lot of urban food carts.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Like the urban food cart game right now is like huge.
Yeah. So that was the beauty in it, you know, looking at it like my mom played a small role in the inspiration of the urban food cart business.
Nice.
You know, so, and then I let that go. They did its job, and now I'm on to the next.
Speaking of on to the next one, you've also done, I've mentioned it earlier, Walk This Way fashion shows, which you've done four of them now. Yes, you just had Walk This Way 4 not too long ago. And so what was your inspiration behind the fashion show other than you wanting to showcase your own as well as others like you?
Well, the inspiration, again, came from me being a brand owner back in 2010, and it wasn't a lot of popular urban brands out here at that time. So I struggled a lot trying to get it set up, trying to figure out how to create things, how to get them done right. You know, how to market, product. It was just so much work, you know, and so much money and time, you know, that I learned so much about the industry because how deep I was into it. And so with that being said, I've seen so many brands, you know, surface in Portland since then, you know, and I just see a lot of things that they don't get to take advantage of and things they might not understand about the clothing business, you know. It's a lot more to it after you make the shirt, you know, and I kind of feel like a lot of people that try it, they don't know that until actually they try it and they realize, oh, this is work.
This is not, it's more than just screen printing and saying, hey.
There's so many different aspects to branding. You know, either you creating a t-shirt, you create merch, or you creating a brand, but that's all different, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to make sure new people had the opportunity to network with other brands, photographers, new models, set up their first booth, walk in their first fashion show. So
Opportunities.
So they can get an idea of the business aspect of trying to create a brand, you know, and just because there's shows in Portland, but I mean, normally we don't get a chance to get in them, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I want to just create something for the people in the urban community starting.
I mean, even I think it was your Walk Your Way 2 where you gave me an opportunity to host your red carpet interviews, which is still, and like you're saying, giving people who have a vision, who have an aspiration, who have a dream to do something in this society and make it productive and beneficial for our people. Like you gave me the opportunity as well, so kudos to you, and I totally see the vision, so thank you.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. It gave a lot of people a chance to do the things that they do and meet new people and just kind of connect from there on out. And you know, and it wasn't just about fashion. I mean, we had you know, makeup artists, you know, hairstylists, you know,
musicians.
Like everybody was body painting. You know, everybody in there in the industry of creativity and culture was in the building, and it turned out way better than I imagined.
Yes, it turned out dope. Every single one's been super dope. Okay, well, we have a lot more to talk to about David Jefferson. We'll talk about his book coming up next and this whole energy management that you're really big on coming up next. But first, we're going to get into a video. Nipsey Hussle's Double Up. Rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace, Nip.
All right, welcome back to Rose City Gumbo. I'm your host, Masha Vu, and that was Nipsey Hussle with Double Up here on Rose City Gumbo. I have David Jefferson, Mr. Exclusive, Mr. Stackin Kickz, Mr. Peaches Ready Spaghetti, Mr. in the house right now. So at the break, though, real quick, we were touching on Peaches Ready Spaghetti, and I asked you if you were vegan still.
No. I gave up on the vegan lifestyle.
Well, we all know health is wealth, and so you attempted it because?
Just because I wanted something different, and I kind of wanted to test my strength, you know what I mean, because I love food.
Yes, you do.
But also for health reasons, again, I think it's just I need more time to educate myself, and I just didn't study as much as I did.
Because it's huge. Like, you can't just be like, because it's so fatty and so like, oh, I'm going to stop eating meat and stop eating dairy. And then people have no idea. That mess is hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. And again, it's just a lot of education, like anything. If you don't have the education, you're going to eat the same things. And I got tired of eating the same things. I wasn't cooking new stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me relax on that until I can. You know.
All right. Well, he's not vegan anymore, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll go ahead and move on from that. Okay, so we will talk about, you're talking about education and things of that nature, how you have to educate yourself. And as a lot of viewers may or may not know, if you follow him on social media at all, or know just about him personally, he is huge on energy management and manifestation and speaking things into existence, positive energy, all of those things. So let's just talk a little bit about those things and how you started being like such a guru per se on preaching such positivity and such like how important it is to you and why you choose to push that so hard.
Right. I think it's just a lot of it got to do with just me and my own experiences. You know, I do a lot of studying myself, a lot of studying society, how people work, formulas, patterns, and things like that. And so I just started noticing certain things that was kind of making sense, and I was starting to figure out why, you know, people are in the state of relations that they are in now. Has a lot to do with just kind of lack of awareness, you know, of self. And when you can't be aware of self, you know, you struggle with being aware of your surroundings and society and your place in the world as a whole.
Right.
And so it just really just started with me personally. You know, I just wanted to be a better person. You know, I didn't really know how, but I think one thing that really got to me was my experiences, you know.
So was it something in particular that was like totally life-changing per se, or an incident or anything like that? Or was it like more of, oh, I'm tired of living this way, or I'm tired of things happening that shouldn't be happening, so to speak?
Well, yeah, again, with the experiences, you go through a lot of different emotions, you know. Sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's got to do with just growing up in the inner city, you know what I mean? And the experiences and the results that we get from that, you know. And also just dealing with people, your peers, like all this is, to me, is information that you can use to educate yourself on the idea of how people operate, you know, and kind of maneuver your way in there the best that you see fit and get the best out of any interaction, you know? And so, so my experiences, you know, like relationships are part of it, you know, like I've been heartbroken before, you know, and I had to kind of go back and try to figure out, like, what did I do wrong, or what did I allow, or what wasn't I aware of about myself that made me think that I was going to
Good for you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you know, I took every situation I've been through and I took accountability for it, you know.
Nice.
And I think that's the difference with a lot of the things that I've been able to learn from, you know, is my accountability.
I mean, that's real grown man status right there, because a lot of people like to point the finger or blame the next person and not take, you know, look at themselves and be like, what did I do to cause a ripple in this, or what part did I play? And if I play that part, what can I do to change that for next time? Is it my, you know, my energies, or is it this or that and the other? So is there any, like, life, or should I say, like, life quotes or mottos or something like that you live by that you want to share with the people?
Yeah, I think I got two that's very dear to me in my philosophy, and I think the first one is basically one of the main issues in society, which is kind of why I started all this in the first place, is because after looking at everybody and how they interact with each other, like I realized that the issue is just that most people just don't know what it's like to be other people. And that's kind of where the breakdown starts. And so because of that, you have to start on the basis of empathy. You know what I mean? To get anywhere in this world, you got to know how to empathize with people so you can understand them, you know? And so that's the main one that kind of got me going. And then I think one of the other ones that I think is very simple, you know, but people find it so hard to practice, which, you know, shows a lack of understanding, energy, and awareness, is if you got people in your life that you don't want to lose, you got to treat them like you don't want to lose them, you know? And as hard as that is, most people just don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I like both of those.
Yeah, so those are things that I just think about, things I write about. You know, it's really more about not really just personal, intimate relationships with, husband and wife. It's just more like relationships with people.
People
overall.
in general.
Yeah.
Human beings.
Yeah. There's a reason why we where we at, and
Right.
until we figure it out and kind of attack that lack of awareness, we're gonna always be going through these issues as people, and there's nothing we're gonna be able to do about that until everybody looks at themselves. You imagine a society where everybody look at themselves, and then you see how we grow.
Yeah, I mean, self-reflection, I think, is the first step to treating the next person better, or at least decent. My motto is treat those how you want to be treated, and that is difficult in its own because people get selfish and they blindside and they only thinking about themselves, and a lot of times.
And then a lot of times,
forget.
And even deeper on that is we don't always even know how people want to be treated. You know what I mean? We know how we want to be treated, but our lack of awareness makes us think that they got the same exact standards that we do.
And it's not.
And it's not that way. We haven't
right.
really dove deep enough into who they are as an individual and approach from that angle, and so that the communication is clear and it's easy going. But it's a lot of work in the beginning.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work, but once you practice it, it becomes normal. You can do it every day.
So is this kind of where the Calculated Conversations show kind of started off a little bit? Because, I mean, we'll talk about Society College next, but you do have a radio show as well. So is this kind of how that started? Because writing a book takes forever. Clearly, yeah. So.
But a Calculated Conversation is a chapter out of Society College.
Oh, really?
And so I turned that into a radio show.
Wow.
Radio show, and I did that because it just made sense. It was just kind of a universe call. I was trying to think of the name of a show and what I was talking about, and then it just hit me. I can use one of the chapters in my book.
Oh, okay.
And Calculated Conversation made the most sense, typically because, again, we're attacking the idea of lack of understanding other people and empathize. And so in order to do that, we have to have conversations that are strategically organized to go deeper into how other people feel and their experiences and their own traumas.
Right.
And then being able to address them from that angle. So now we
to better understand.
Yeah, so now we equaling out to a point of understanding. So that's the calculation. So if you know what you want in the end, you got to put certain numbers and symbols in the formula in order to achieve that.
Right.
So really it's about getting people to understand what we want them to understand, feel how we want them to feel, and hear what we want them to hear. And no more, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. Now I was thinking. I knew exactly what I wanted to say.
Because it was strategically
strategized
placed.
it, and now you know exactly where I'm coming from.
Got
and
you.
now we feel each other. Now we're that much closer, and now we can build something together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
He is preaching today. Hopefully not to the choir, and y'all is listening up in here.
Oh, I lost a lot of friends over this stuff.
Man, no. When you get focused and stop with the okie doke and the whatever, you really do. When you stop just being a what they call it, a yes ma'am or whatever, you definitely will lose some friends.
It's very, very intense in the beginning, and somebody being around me for the first time and coming from different type of environment and then hanging around me, and then I'm challenging them to look at all these things, and more importantly,
they'd be like, oh, this dude's
more importantly, to look deeper into what they self and how they communicate, and it almost never goes well. It's only certain. It's it's a small percentage of people that really understand the importance of,
or even want to have that dialect with you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just shut it down, and be like, well, this is not what I signed up for.
Right, exactly.
Being your friend, I did not sign up for this.
And I got to accept that, and again, that's part of energy management, managing the energies around you, making sure that you're around, giving vibes to the things that bring the most to you. And the most that you can do for other people. But if you can't do nothing, you just can't do nothing.
Right.
And sometimes managing is just getting the heck out the way.
Hello.
And
Say that.
just taking yourself out of certain circumstances.
Okay, we'll touch on Society College real quick before we go to another break. So Society College is the name of the book that you're in the process of writing. And you've been in the process of writing that for a while. So when can the people expect that to come out? We're waiting.
I can't tell them now because I was told... I've been dealing with kind of a mentor of mine, man, and he didn't think it was a good idea. He didn't want me to go that deep on my first book.
Were you telling too much truths?
Well,
or
he wants me to introduce myself a little bit better before I think I can go in and start educating people. You know what I mean?
So is Society College on pause?
Yeah, so it's on pause right now.
And are you going to write a different book?
Yeah, I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to, because Portland know me, but you know that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, and so if I'm gonna go worldwide with it, I got to introduce myself on a more clear basis.
Okay.
You know.
Well, that
and I
makes sense.
And I got to give them all the groundwork that even created Society College first.
Right. Instead of just going, I gotcha.
Yeah, because right now it's like, why do I need to listen to this dude? You know what I mean? Like, and so I had to understand. I didn't know that until
I'm pretty sure your mentor knows what they're talking about. I mean, that's your mentor for a reason.
Yeah, he was powerful. You know, he's not my mentor yet, but you know, I met with him. I'm like, I mean, he's gonna be my mentor, but it's like he really told me, you know, about like he's done like 3 or 4 books, and like they all sell well.
Nice.
And so he was like, listen, like I love the book, but he said this is not a regular book.
You coming out with the gut punch.
Yeah, he was like, you trying to put too much in one book. This
right.
is more like a series. You know what I'm saying? And
okay.
So I wanted to make sure that I introduced myself first properly.
Okay.
You know.
Well, we'll be looking forward to whatever you put out first. I was excited for Society College because I know your mental state, and I was very interested in reading your perspective and your philosophies.
The cold part is almost done too.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you know what? We just know that one's gonna be, and when it comes out, it's gonna be ready.
Right. It's gonna be on top. Yeah. It's gonna be dope.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go to a quick break on that note into a local video called "What I'm About." This is a classic in the hood.
Right.
If y'all don't know about this, y'all better ask somebody. Cool Nuts featuring Versatile and Bosco.
Yes.
What I'm about. What I'm about. You know what I'm about. The script and my grind and real talk in my mouth. What I'm about. You know what I'm about. The script and my grind and real talk in my mouth. Crack up dawn, sunrise, motion for the day. Take heed, listen up, and hear what I say. I'm in the cut, a savage display of game circulation. Make the calculation. 36 zips makes a chicken fly the coop. I'm stuck on death row with a dog named Snoop. I'm a limp to the left, Skrilla Capital, Betty for the cause. We true outlaws. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strip, my grind and real talk in my mouth. With 25,000, get up out the public housing from the rats and the roaches and shiesty approaches. Buenos noches, identification, avoid jealousy and playerhation. Regulation for the players that participate, but slugs for the busters that aggravate my nerves. But what you heard, I'ma swerve to the curb, chrome shoes, sipping booze and booze. You know where I'm from, just family is the click. Cutting, so sick, so sick. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth. You can pose like a pimp and check my rhyme. Cool nuts on the grind through the sands of time. Believe it, federal, international. Connecticut to the Bronx, Seattle to Southern Cal. I represent rap music for the masses, not a regional sound. I want my money in mounds. Check a grip, Ritto, Skrilla scratch for my flow. Take it from the rich and buy goldies from the poor you didn't know. Back up on a million, be the point. Greenbacks and scratches for the leeches to attach. Check it, a tender told a story. He's smoking the rock and he's tweaking in the spot. I thought not, my hustle is a lifeline. I can't be rich and smoke yay at the same time. I'ma work my fingers down to the bone. Get the fetty and the fame and get gone. Get gone. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth. What I'm about. And my grind and real talk in my mind. It gets greasy,
coming tight has to be a must. Cause sideline sitters love to hate and bust. You can't trust it. Fakeness, animation, habitual lying and perpetration. Suckers in clown suits suck teeth and gyrate. Attempt to contest your whole world. I suffocate, I delegate all whackness to eternally burn. While you bust your whack bombs, I can't wait my turn. Cause we on a mission, see and destroy. Him play the role, him fake B-boy. Annoy me and my folks' whole scheme. You be the loser and we winning team.
What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth. What I'm about, you know what I'm about. The strength and my grind and real talk in my mouth.
All right, you guys, welcome back. That was a Portland classic there, What I'm About, Cool Nuts featuring Versatile and Bosco. So what you guys don't know is in preparation of this show, I asked David Jefferson to pull from his archives of what he wanted to play on this show, and that was one of his songs that he picked, and I want to know why.
Why? Man, I'm just a big fan of Cool Nuts. You know, I grew up off his music. I love his pioneership, his support for the community, all the people he brought up afterwards.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? He's just a big part of the city.
And still doing it.
Yeah, he don't even always get the credit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's just weird. And then and on top of that, he keep his energy so cool. Like, I told him before, I said, you one of the ones I kind of learned a little bit of energy management from. And he was like, man, for real? I was like, yeah, because I've seen you get attacked online several times about what you don't do for people.
Cool as a fan.
And you don't even pay no attention. You know what I mean? I really respected that, you know. And this song right here, What I'm About, it's a Portland classic. It's got the scene started. I used to ride to that. And even more important, you know, what it's saying. You know, I feel like it relates to me. Like, when people see me, like, they know what I'm about. You know, I'm about the strip, about my grind, and when I'm talking real.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it was a perfect pick for all those different reasons.
Nice.
You know?
All right, big up the Cool Nuts. And Bosco and Versatile, all from the town. Okay, and then so also another song that you picked and that we played earlier was the Nipsey Hussle video Double Up, which you picked yourself. Nipsey has a ton of videos, but you picked that one.
Right.
And unfortunately we lost him not too long ago.
True.
So what I want to know is, being an entrepreneur, being a black man, being a young black man who that could have happened to any one of you guys at any given time, being the circumstances of the situation, how did his passing affect you or make you feel or make you want to move a certain kind of way? Like, what kind of effect did that have on you?
His passing confirmed a lot of things that I'd already known and had been studying, which is spirituality, you know, which is, again, energy, which is legacy. You know what I mean? And it all makes sense. Like, he put everything, all the pieces in order to make sure that he was crispy clean in all these areas. And so because of that, you know, he's going to live forever. You know what I mean? And so it just confirmed the importance of energy, the importance of being spiritual, the importance of showing love, the importance of, you know, educating people, the importance of being intelligent, the importance of rising mentally out of your environment and what that does and you know, and how you shine after that. You know what I'm saying? And how important it is to take advantage of yourself, which is what he did. And he stopped letting the community take advantage of him. He started taking advantage of himself, and then he inspired the community to be better. You know
Yeah, I mean, we all know his background and the background he had, and when someone comes from that and turns the new leaf and then preaches that positivity to his peers and to his enemies and to everybody and wants everyone to do better, and then has such an untimely death, it hurts so many people because we as a society needed that positive vibe, and it got cut way too short.
We need more people like that. you know, and that was definitely a painful loss, you know, for even people who never met him before. You know what I mean? His words were so deep and
they were real.
so real and so
Yeah.
touching that you had to be like, if you wasn't affected by his death, then you know you might have to
Check yourself.
you might have to check your humanity.
Right,
you know what
for
I'm saying?
real.
Because it was powerful.
I mean, that touched so many people. I mean, even Megan, the soccer player who just was on the women's soccer team who won, she quoted Nipsey in honor of her winning the national soccer tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like, it touched so, like, Witty Talks touched so many people from young to old, black, white, like all races, genders, gay, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And for him to be, you know, a Eritrean African, a ex-gang member, all those things, and to touch those many people is amazing.
I mean, the thing about it is, coming from the bottom, you become extremely wise. You know, that's what people forget. You know, sometimes silver spoon-fed people, they don't always have the knowledge. They can't always teach people. They can't tell you how to get it and how they got it. They don't know. They was born with it.
Right.
And so when you got somebody that's come from the grassroots, self-made, like you always say, and you build up, you gain so much knowledge of the world, like you can't help but to start talking about it more, because you like, oh,
you want to share it.
Yeah, because you see that people are trapped mentally and they don't know it. And so it's really tough for somebody on the outside to understand the game, the philosophy of how this world maneuvers, and not be able to reach your people. You know what I mean? Because the powers are so strong, and the percentages is so high, and the numbers is so deep that, I mean, people just can't grasp the concept of taking accountability for their own thoughts, actions, mind, words, and life, you know?
Absolutely. Well, rest in peace, Nip. The marathon definitely continues over here, especially with David Jefferson right here, and us here at Rose City Gumbo. We like to bring all of the real to you guys, so rest in peace to him. So as we close out on the show, we have about 20 minutes left or so. I just want to ask about some things that's been going on in social media lately, and your thoughts about it. We all know social media is the devil. And, you know, it's so good and so bad, you know what I mean? So there's been some things that's been controversial, and people have all of their inputs, and some things have just been shockers. And so I just want to ask you how you feel, or your ideas, or your thoughts, or whatever, however it comes out when I ask you about these things. Okay, first of all, Ariel being casted as a black girl.
You talking about the Disney thing?
See, I can be Ariel, can I not?
No comment. No, I'm kidding, but I'm kidding.
That was good, you guys. Come on.
I mean, I'm sorry, you know.
People are in an uproar. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, why?
I don't know.
That's the thing, you know, because they're in the uproar, you know, themselves internally. Like, these things shouldn't be affecting us that much. You know what I mean? Like, it's a Disney movie. They make decisions on, you know, how they want to, you know, present it and how they want to cast it.
I mean, clearly the girl who they casted, I mean, they didn't just ask. I'm pretty sure people had to try out and so forth and so on. And so if you didn't make the cut, you didn't make the cut, right?
Yeah. And it's just a character. You know, this happened in real life, you know, in America every day. You know, people switch the roles and assume somebody's full identity.
Cleopatra was white in the movie.
Yeah, and so it's like, it's nothing, it's not abnormal, you know. It's just on the flip side, so now it's an uproar. But this is not abnormal, you know, for people to be, identities to be taken, and, you know, for their culture to be swapped out and misrepresented. You know, this is what's normal. So, and it's not even a real character, is it? I mean, like, I'm confused. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time, and I won't read it.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Okay. Next question. So, the family fight at Disneyland. So, I'm pretty sure everybody saw that hot mess. Grandma fell out the wheelchair. This dude in the pink shirt.
I was forced to watch that.
Man, I was like, what are they doing at Disneyland?
Right.
Can you believe? And then the dude well off on his own girl. I was so I had to watch it a few times just to figure out what was going on. And I really hate it when I watch stuff like that. But you're so in shock.
Yeah.
You're like, is this really happening right now? That you're like stuck on your phone watching it.
Right. Like, what else is this idiot gonna do?
Exactly. I was just waiting. And then he didn't go off on none of the bystander
Nah,
who choked me out.
Just the people he came with, but
Right.
but you know, I got some strong feelings about that, and it's much less about the fight and why it started. It was just more or less about that's a kid's amusement park.
Yes.
And there were children around, you know, and I got an issue with, you know, kids seeing, you know, arguing, fighting, all this mayhem as normal and growing up like that, and also engaging in that activity and becoming the victim of the state, you know, and the victim of society because of that. And what I also understand is that a lot of parents and adults don't realize how much kids actually see what you're doing, how much they learn. You know, and I think about my own life growing up and seeing like my parents always arguing and fighting, and as an adult now, I see how much it impacted me. You know what I mean? And so because of that, it's just, you know, is really ridiculous and is not excusable. Because you're teaching this to be normal.
Yeah, I mean, they had nothing but babies with them.
That's what I'm saying. And the babies, and they forgot that the babies even existed for the moment.
They pushed the stroller to the side, like hold little Nene, like it was just a complete hot mess. And they seem to be all related. Like inter-family turmoil like that is insane. Like I have siblings and family members that even if I would never in my life go to that extreme to my family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever they are, I don't know.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, man. I just couldn't believe what I saw, man. It
was sad, wasn't it?
It probably was over Mickey Mouse ears too, like something stupid.
Something, yeah, it had to have been.
It's crazy, man.
Okay. All right, well, moving right along. As a young black entrepreneur, Kanye West is on the cover of Forbes as number 3 for the richest person. How do you feel about Kanye West?
How do I feel about Kanye West?
As Kanye West, as we're not talking the artist because we, you know, music, whatever, but Kanye West as the person that he's presenting himself to America these days.
I don't know, man. Either he really dumb or really smart. You know,
I mean, he's number 3 on the Forbes list. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, everybody's talking about, oh, people don't buy Yeezys and who's gonna buy those and and all this other stuff. But
I mean, it's the controversy. You know, he could be getting popular because of the controversy. You know, I mean, that's something that's normal to our society. You know, using that energy to gain fame and notoriety. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's a good ploy for people who are in the business or trying to get in the business to? Like all publicity is good publicity if it's good or bad?
No, absolutely not, man. Because again, publicity is energy, and it's a long-term thing. So it looks good right now, but if you don't calculate it far enough, it'll eat you in the end. You know, it'll take you out the game. I mean, you can't last anywhere with that type of energy. You know, and money ain't gonna save you. Like, look at Trump. You know what I mean? His energy is horrible, and money's not gonna save him. You know, it ain't gonna save his legacy. He's done, you know, and so, yeah, all publicity is not good publicity. All energy is not good energy. All money ain't good money.
All right, well, you heard it here, folks. All right, last but not least, I was just in Vegas last week. There was an earthquake in L.A. that I felt in Vegas when I was there. I believe there was an earthquake in Seattle a day or two ago. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of the earthquakes and, like, just natural disasters just going on in general, but there's been lots of talks of survival kits and everybody get your survival kit. The big one's coming. You know, we have to be careful about this, that, and the other.
Right.
So being the conscious brother that you are, do you, one, feel the need for us as a people to prepare for something like that first?
I say prepare. I just say don't panic. You know, I mean, preparation is always good. Just don't panic. You know, you don't have a lot of control of that. You know, unless you're just gonna fly across the country somewhere. I mean, you know, you got to still maintain yourself and do what you do because nothing might not happen. You know, a lot of times energy is built off fear mongering. You know, and just scaring people half to death and making them act crazy and run around like ants. You know what I'm saying? And so,
I believe in that.
Sometimes it's useful. Sometimes it's a waste of your time and energy. You know, and you just kind of got to go with what you feel and what your connection is and just hope that your spirituality is stronger than your environment. You know?
I mean, I feel the same way when you just said, like, people like to do the fear thing and say things that put you in fear. Because, like, I mean, I like to travel. I was just in the Dominican Republic in February. And all the stories of people getting killed and I'm like, how is this so? Like, I was there, it felt totally fine, totally safe, and I do believe society, the news, the internet, things of that nature do like to pump fear in the common folk to make them feel like they, one, have to consume certain products or go buy certain things, to have to sway them one way or the other towards all kinds of stuff, like where I should live or who I should vote for, like all kinds of things.
Right. Well, yeah, because like you can't control nobody if they don't fear you, you know, and that's the difference. And so the world has a problem with men that that have no fear. So they try to frame them, they try to kill them, they try to break them down, embarrass them, kill their character, because you can't really break a man or a woman like that who has no fear about what they're doing here and why. But when you can scare everybody and get them to run around, you can get them to do what you want to do and run where you want them to run, even if you benefit off of it financially or something,
Okay. Well, let's just say something's going to happen. Let's. What would you put? What would your top 10 items be in your survival kit?
Top ramen. No, I ain't gonna say that.
Top ramen.
No,
hey, top ramen lasts for years though.
All right, no refrigerator, no water. I'm definitely gonna need some. I'm gonna need me a canopy. I'm gonna need a tent.
Okay, that's one. He said a tent. You sound like the homeless people here in Portland.
Right. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need some water.
Okay.
I'm gonna need a survivor knife.
That's serrated. Got you.
Right. I'm gonna need some vodka.
Okay.
I'm gonna need some sleep.
Just try to pass the time, right?
Yeah, I just sleep. To shake up. But I'm just a go with the flow type of guy. I try not to get too fearful of anything around me, so that I know I can maintain control. And if something's out of my control, it's out of my control,
Right, I feel you.
I don't really want to ruin my life trying to prepare for something I can't control.
Or something where you have be on pins and needles and you have no idea when something's going to happen.
I can have all my survivor stuff and still get swept off.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just got to do what I can do while I'm here.
Right. I feel you.
So, yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we are not quite done yet with David Jefferson, but we are going to go into a video by Portland's Almighty that he just released not too long ago called Big Facts. Y'all check it out.
Oh, yeah, that's my guy.
All right.
It's mighty.
Okay, look, just another day at the office, huh? Guess it costs to be the boss when we saucing, huh? Same sauce you get lost in the cost you, bruh. Never been a hater, it'll cost me none. To show a little bit of love for him, 100 I kept it a buck for him. Checks the only thing I'm running up on. Can't pretend I made no sub for him. Bruh wet, dumb form, they never really know what I'm on. They like, what he on, what he on? All they ever saw is Cuddy on his money long. Look, all I'm saying is I don't know you nothing. And all they see is big bro and stunting. It's all energy, I'm showing you something. We ain't put up for the city like all of a sudden. It's that hard work and that dedication. When opportunity meets preparation, no second guessing, no hesitation. This is persistence and patience. This is what happens when you don't let circumstances determine your destination. Big facts. Big facts, really big. I done been there and did that.
I did.
It's a big mood, big moves.
Flip.
I done paid my dues. Breaking news, it's a bunch of big facts, big facts.
Really big.
I done been there and did that. I'm just trying to flip it back and get back.
Flip.
I'm in my bag, I'm in that. Yeah. In my bag, trying to run it up. 2 for the 5, no double dutch. Trying to double up, girl, it's cold and upper left, bundle up. What the fuck is up? Where them ones at that's trying to fuck it up? When 5 alone, I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody better let them know to buckle up. Like, click of the ticket, look at the flick of the wrists, simply terrific. I'm sick of the gimmicks. This isn't an image, this is a vision. If I all in one, they on some mission. The time of the month, I might be humble, but bro, I'm not dumb. Want me the 2, I'm not the 1, yeah. I really ain't, you better know that. Mama left, so I sold that. Never been the one I condone that. Now that I'm on, I won't go back. Won't go back. Now that I'm on, I won't go back. Big facts, big facts.
Really big.
I done been there and did that.
I did.
It's a big mood, big moves.
Flip.
I done paid my dues. Breaking news, it's a bunch of big facts, big facts.
Really big.
I done been there and did that. I'm just trying to flip it back
welcome back, everybody. It's your girl, Masha Vu. You are tuned into Rose City Gumbo. I have David Jefferson here on the couch. Before we get back to him and closing out the show here, I just want to give a big shout out to my live studio audience today who came to hang out with me on this show. Woo! You guys have no idea how much I love it when people come and actually can come and feel the vibe. It gives me so much more energy. It gives my guests energy. It just makes the show so much better. So when I post and say, hey, come down, be a part of the live studio audience, I am not joking. I want you guys to come down, be a part of this live studio audience, bring your energies, as my man is talking about today. Have a good time, meet the guests. Sometimes they bring goodies down, you know what I'm saying, free stuff. So it's always a good time. So anyway, thank you for all that have tuned in today for Rose City Gumbo. So before we say goodbye, let's just tune back to David Jefferson one last time. I want to say thank you so much for being on the show today. Can you let our viewers know what is next up for you?
What's next up is we're working on the Walk This Way 5 fashion show series. And so we're looking at the Stars Theater downtown and make it a little bit more elegant, a little bit more exclusive this time. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing. And then, again, I got to kind of rewrite a new book I'm working on.
When is the fashion show going to be? Do we have a month for that yet?
Yeah, well, the goal is I'm waiting on word back. You know, it's really hard getting through those guys. It's a big place, but the goal is to get him in by, you know, at least the middle of or last week of August.
Okay.
You know, so I like
in the summer maybe.
Yeah, I like to get at least a month planning.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, do we have a name for the new book that you have to come up with? Nope. Have you even started the new book yet?
I don't come up with no names, man. They just tell me what it's called and I just write it. So yeah, whenever it comes, it'll just show up.
All right.
Yeah, I don't create nothing.
You create a lot.
Well, yeah, you know, but
I feel you though.
It comes from the spirit, so.
Okay. So, any last words that we want to give our people out here? We got a few minutes left here.
No. Well, yeah, actually, you know, I appreciate being here. I appreciate, you know, the invitation, the conversation. The studio audience has been dope. Dan back there taking pictures has been dope.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the bottom line is just I want to make sure that people just, you know, stay encouraged to continue to think and continue to try to control their thoughts and control their energy in the way that they move, because how you make people feel around you is going to be the ultimate determining factor of how far you go in life, you know, and how many connections you make. Because, you know, when you leave people feeling full, you know, opportunities, they show up, you know what I'm saying, to other people. And when they come up, people go back and think about, you know, who can I get involved in this, you know, and they choose and they call and they work with the people with the best energy that make them feel the best and the most passionate. And so people I think sometimes people don't realize how directly it affects like how far they go. So what we have is a lot of people going through things that are struggling in certain areas of their life and they don't know why.
It's because they've been nasty to somebody.
Well, yeah, that's one way to put it. You know, but yeah, just not making people feel good and not inspiring or supporting people. There's a reason you got to do that. It ain't always for other people. Sometimes it's for you. And we just need to understand that, and we need to strategize, and we need to resist, you know, trying to gain energy out of negativity just to be relevant at the time. Because in the end, it doesn't work. It breaks you down, and it breaks down everything. And
it brings more negativity to you.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you hate your life, and you hate the world, and then you don't understand why you're here, what you're supposed to do in it. You know, but when you gain that clarity, you don't really have a reason to be mean to people. You don't really want to embarrass people. You don't want to put people down. You just want to see them enjoy what you enjoy. That's all I really want. I want to see.
I mean, life is such a beautiful thing. Who wants to go about it in such a negative manner? It takes so much. It just takes so much out of you.
And it's really short, you know, and we operate like we're going to be here forever, you know, and that's just not true. And so with it being that short, you don't really want to go through it mad and then die. You might as well go through happy and have fun and then die.
Right.
You know,
I heard that.
And then leave a fun legacy for everybody.
And that energy for the next. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, David Jefferson, Mr. Exclusive, Mr. Stackin Kickz. You guys heard it here yourself, spitting all the jewels. Make sure you tune in next month, every second Saturday of the month, Comcast Channel 20.